Walmart just reported quarterly results, and Courtney Reagan joins us now with the numbers. Courtney.
Yeah, Andrew. So Walmart reporting adjusted earnings of 66 cents. That's 2 cents above expectations. Revenues of $180.554 billion, also above expectations for just a little over $180 billion. Issuing full-year guidance for 3 to 4% revenue growth. Consensus, though, is for 4% growth. And adjusted earnings, Walmart is saying, between $2.50 and $2.60. Analysts, though, are looking for $2.76. Walmart also is raising its dividend 13%. Here we do see the stock is reacting down about 8%. Now, the retailer posting U.S. comparable sales of 4.6%. That's 42 straight quarters of growth by my count. Transactions up 2.8%. The release calls out broad-based sales momentum across categories with seasonal sales. Consumers using expedited delivery options and share gains primarily from upper-income households. Now, Walmart's U.S. digital sales coming in up 20%. That's just a slight deceleration from the previous 3 quarters. Ad sales growing 29% globally, 24% in the U.S. I spoke with CFO John David Rainey briefly, who said, if I had to sum up how I feel about the consumer in a word, I would say steady. Rainey said that according to its surveys, Walmart is attracting these higher-income consumers because of its delivery convenience, noting we now serve 93% of America same day. There are very few companies that can do that, and particularly in the fresh category. He said right now there's nothing assumed in the guidance related to tariffs. Remember, 2/3 of what Walmart sells in the United States is made, grown, or assembled here because they skew so largely towards grocery. But Rainey said, quote, we're not going to be completely immune to this. We will be impacted. We were impacted 8 years ago, but we're going to work hard to keep prices low for customers. And while the majority of Walmart sales are grocery, as I noted, Rainey said that general merchandise sales did grow for the second straight quarter. They began to see that inflection 3 quarters ago, but really growth the last.
It's coming back already. It was down almost $9. It's now down.
Oh, yeah. Look,
$5.
now it's down about 5%.
And the Dow it was down 150. It was only down 100 earlier. Can you give me what's my takeaway?
I think the takeaway is that Walmart does seem to be serving a wider swath of consumers in the United States. We often think of it as a low-income consumer, but it just keeps grabbing more of these high-income consumers. And I think they're operating really well, frankly. Obviously, they're very big. They have a lot of advantages because of their scale to offer low prices, especially at a time when consumers are feeling stretched, no matter where you are in the income scheme. And I think they've made a lot of strides digitally.
I just remember, Courtney, in recent quarters, Walmart has sort of diverged from Target.
Yeah, you're right.
And others, and popped, had great days after the company. I don't remember down $7 days with Walmart.
Right.
And what's different? I don't understand.
That is true. I mean, I think the guidance potentially is a little bit disappointing. 3 to 4 instead of 4,
and then not related to tariffs either.
They're not counting into tariffs. When I spoke to John David Rainey, he said, look, they had that Vizio transaction, so they purchased Vizio. So there's going to be some noise with that. There's some leap day. When you look at the operating numbers, that's actually higher. The operating revenue itself is actually going to be sort of higher in an acceleration format than what they've seen the last couple of years. So he was really quite positive about this. I think, maybe we'll get a little bit more information on the call with some of the details about sort of the operations of the company and how that's generating the revenue.
Is there anything that could cause Walmart to not be, as great as people were hoping from the consumer, or is it from competition from Amazon and others?
I mean,
Can we glean anything about the overall economy from the stock being
right?
$8?
I think it's tricky. I don't think that the stock price is really reflective of the consumer and the economy. He has said consistently, and he's used the word steady and consistent for the consumer. And he's talking across incomes. And they survey their customers. So I don't think this is just sort of he's sticking his finger in the wind and saying, this is how I feel about it. This is what his consumers are telling him, whether it's a higher income consumer that's moving more towards Walmart because they can get their groceries delivered same day, which is hard to do for a lot of retailers, to his point, right? That's not something that everyone can do. But general merchandise is also growing. Right. And because they offer this big marketplace online, millions and millions of products beyond what they offer in a store, that can be attractive to a wider swath of consumers, too.
I was counting on Walmart to help the Dow today.
Maybe it will.
So interesting
it's pre-market. It's pre-market, right?
No,
we don't have the full details.
What's so interesting to me is that we just had Roger Ferguson on. I mean, with the conference board, with more confidence. I mean, what's so fascinating right now is we're getting earnings like this at a time when CEOs are saying that they are super confident about what's happening in the economy. And I'm trying desperately to square this circle because the truth is we've had some earnings reports that have been coming lighter than people had anticipated. Yep. There's been all these questions about tariffs and what that uncertainty is going to mean. We still have the tax issue on the table this year. And so there's sort of this strange sort of disconnect. And how much of the sort of regulatory unbundling that's going to take place in this country is going to ultimately boost business that we'll actually see in the numbers?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously it's too early for that. But.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I think the month of January is a little tricky too. I know it's funny to blame weather, but it's freezing outside. Nobody wants to go outside. People aren't going out. They're not buying as much. Weather, I think, also does impact things. They talked about a little bit of a blip from the California wildfires. I mean, certainly don't mean to be glib about that, but obviously people are not shopping when there's real danger to their lives. And I just want to sort of clarify exactly what John David said to me. He said, look, we're actually seeing an acceleration with a guide of 5 to 7% for the core business when you're talking about revenue. You know, the guide there is for 4% because of this other noise. So I don't know if that helps clarify things, and maybe he'll have to go through that a little further on the call.